Here we go once again. So I wanted to stick with this branding thing. I think it's extremely important. Oh yeah, Rack of the Marn. I think it's extremely important for you to develop your brand. One of the key things is understanding that most civilians, and you need to start calling them corporate people, identify nouns. So when it comes to this definition of noun versus verb, the best way to find out how you can translate your military skills into the corporate world is to have a conversation with people where you talk about your verbs, what you did while you're on active duty. So, for example, my final job in the Army was an artillery meteorologist. There's not a whole lot of civilian world needs for artillery meteorologists where you throw a stupid weather balloon up in the air and you tell which direction the wind's going, the humidity, the barometer, all of that stuff, so you can blow shit up. It just doesn't happen. So that being said, what you need to talk about is what you did as a team leader. So when I look at the Army's website as far as what you can do in the civilian world for being an artillery meteorologist, it has a few things. It says you can be a construction site surveyor or work as a construction estimator. Very great fields to go into, but there's a lot of other things that is overlooked. So if you look at what you did, like I was an NCO, so I got out and I was responsible for a P&L. So I was profit and loss on a bunch of equipment that I signed for, which was millions of dollars. And most people in the corporate world can't understand that a 25-year-old guy that just got out of the Army had this responsibility, especially when they didn't have an education. So that's completely wrong. We'll get to the education thing further down the road. You do have an education, even if you're an enlisted guy. So if you look at what you do as an NCO, you're a project leader, you're a program manager, you're a project manager. Other things that come to mind is Scrum. Scrum's very hot now in the IT field. So when you get out and talk to your cousins, your uncles, your next door neighbor while you're in transition, and those people are in the corporate world, you tell them what you did. And I see it all the time in these small groups that we're in where somebody's like, well, you're a this. Have you ever thought of being a compliance person since you're this? So these people that you talk to will help you define what your noun is. You just have to tell them what your verb is. So stick with that in your conversations and you'll be extremely safe. So you can say, well, you know what? I led a team of 8 guys and not one of them turned down Harvard or Yale. And actually they were trying to get away from the incarceration series that they were about to go into. And they were amazing people. And with my leadership, we had an extremely successful team that anybody would be proud of. So focus on what you did. You know, there's everybody that I talk to that's kind of ignorant to what we do in the military. They hit me up with these job offers of can you bring your vets to this or that? We've got this going on. And it's like, I'm sorry, but my people are a lot more qualified than an $11 an hour job because these guys are retired sergeant majors that were running an organization of 500 to 1,000 people, whatever. And that's really insulting to me for these guys that they think that their $11, $12 an hour job when their number is going to start with a 100 and something at a minimum. So that's what I want to say today. I'm going to focus on have a discussion talking about your actions, your verbs, and let the person you're talking to tell you about your noun.